Mountain's majesty here in Phoenix, Arizona. Clear blue skies. Obviously, this was shot yesterday because it's a gray day here at the racetrack. The sun is not out, and it's getting a little gray in Rusty Wallace's pit. He radioed in and thought he might have valve trouble in the engine. Buddy?
It's either a valve problem or dragging those header pipes around. He might have drug a place in the header pipe where now he's blown a hole in it, and that will take away power from the car.
Yeah, you can see right here what the car is going by him. He's on the inside, and they're clicking him off. And this is just the way you don't want to see the points thing come out. You want to see these two guys race with 8 cylinders as hard as they can go at the end of the season. Maybe, might be something they could correct, but Rusty Cobb said he thought his valve could be what Buddy said.
Whatever it is, he's off the pace quite a bit.
Yep. Jeff Gordon is back in the race. Ray Evernham's crew took 46 minutes and 23 seconds to repair the damage on the car of one of the leading rookie contenders. And Wallace continues to lose position on the racetrack.
It won't be long before the 6th car will pop up in this picture here, and then it'll be a lap down again.
Right. The one good thing is that Rick Corelli is 2 laps down. Good for Wallace. And Jimmy Spencer there is 10 laps down. Wallace shaking the car back and forth there. So he's still on the lead lap. None of those passes there were for position.
Let me tell you what. I guarantee you right now, Rusty Wallace, if he thinks it's about, he'll be glad to go 1 or 2 or 3 down. What he doesn't want to happen is this thing is self-destruct. That valve to cause the rest of this engine to go away and quit, because there's a long way to go yet. Something can happen to some of these other guys.
That's right.
As long as it keeps running, you can't complain a whole lot. I know they'd like to have that thing with 8 cylinders, but to keep it rusty, they got to try to just keep that thing running the rest of the day.
If Wallace dropped out of the race, right now he would finish 35th, no better than 35th, and Earnhardt could clinch the championship today.
That's the reason they got to keep this thing running.
Now he's only 3 seconds from being lapped. As we give you this Napa Field standing update, we'll check with Ralph.
The crew is discussing what they want to do with the car. Crew Chief Buddy Barrett is standing on top of the war wagon. He's keeping an eye on Rusty. The rest of the crew members discussing what they want to do and getting their tools in order.
Let me tell you what, Ralph, what they're working, I see in their hand right there is a set of Heim joints that goes on the sway bar. That's some sway bar. Looks like it might have drugged the sway bar off on the right front, a lot of that sparks, but I'm sure they got a motor problem too, but they're looking at some sway bar components there. That right there is what loads that front bar, and you saw Rusty wiggling the car off the corner a while ago. If that thing broke that bar loose, he's got his hands full along with the motor problem.
It's a big Heim joint connecting link to put on the front suspension of Wallace's car. Thing is, he has to nurse that thing along before he gets a caution. Now, you saw when that car came out of the corner, and the next time we see it, look at all the travel on the left front. It looks like that fender comes way up in the air, just like you say, and you like that sway bar is not connected.
They're with the leaders by the 6 car just went around it. But Mike, just like you said, that gap on the left front, what it's doing, that sway bar, when that right front compresses, it makes it pull that left wheel down and compress it down in the ground. That front anti-roll bar is critical to these cars. They'll go out there and change a 16th of an inch, go from an inch to an inch and a 16th, inch and an eighth. And I'm telling you, without one, it is tough to drive.
With the sway bar, Neil, can't you run a softer spring to get the same job done? But then if it breaks, if that sway bar breaks or comes disconnected, then your car is so soft in the front that it doesn't work on both sides.
That's right. And one thing he's got to think about, even if he's got a cylinder down, if they can get it back, get that bar hooked up where he can handle it, he can hold it almost wide open and not give up as much ground. So look at that left front wheel right there like we're talking. Look at the gap above the tire and the fender and watch it settle back down on the straightaway. Just like you say, when he goes in the corner, that body work is going to lift way up. And see, there's the 28 going around. You can see what off the pace he's having to go with. And I'm telling you, Rusty Wallace is one of the few guys that can still run this hard with that bar loose.
Now, your street car has a front sway bar as well, most likely, and it prevents that body roll where it feels like the car is just all leaning over like that.
Well, that's bad when it lifts up there, but when he gets on the straightaway, all that weight comes back on the left front right here.
Buddy, we just got to call the 2 cars coming in this lap. They've got to come in and fix something here. We'll see if he comes in. They made a call for him to come in this lap.
Wallace had hoped to nurse this thing along and wait for a caution as you watch from our Ray Bestas aerial platform. Ray Bestas best in brakes. Broken sway bar link. Probably when Wallace, and caution is coming out. Wallace will get a caution. Yellow is out, number 41, Dick Trickle. was one indication we had, but Trickle is still running. Here's Wally Dahlem back to the pit lane.
Boy, now that's what it takes to win championships. Take attention. There was the 2-car coming in that lap. Caution came out, fell right to his favor. Good luck for those guys.
It will cut down on the number of laps that he loses, making this repair under the caution flag. Wally Dallenbach is in with the hood up on the Keystone Ford.
That's the car that's losing the fluid, and this isn't the Rusty Wallace pit yellow flag. I can see fluid going in the #1 corner down low.
You're right, buddy. Looks like a long streak of oil down there into turn #1. NASCAR has observers stationed all around the racetrack, and safety is their primary concern. If something happens and the track's unsafe for racing, they won't hesitate to bring the caution out, and the speedy dry trucks are coming out.
Yeah, Mike, even if it's questionable is there fluid on the track, they need to throw that caution. There's nothing like sailing one of these things off at 160 miles an hour and it not stick. So I'm sure all drivers would rather, even if it's questionable, put that caution out and check it.
Wally Dallenbach, former Trans Am champion, brings out this caution. It is the 8th one of the day at lap 239. Now here's a new one. Derek Cope got a stop-and-go penalty after his green flag pit stop. Crew chief Bob Johnson got into a shouting match with a NASCAR official, and you can't win those, so he earned a stop-and-go penalty for that car.
For the crew chief?
Yes. Ralph?
Rusty brings the car to a stop. They will change right side tires first and make an adjustment to the sway bar. Then they will come around and change left side tires. The tires that are going on the car is set number 8. This is one of those 3 best sets. Now down to Glenn Jarrett.
Earnhardt brings his Chevrolet in for his stop. They're going to the right side first also, which is normal. I see no attempt thus far to do anything about that towing problem. I believe they're just going to have to try to ride it out. They're going to the left side now, but there are no tools out there to try to set that tow in. This is the first time they've been able to pit under the caution since they diagnosed that problem. He's down and away. Ralph?
At this point, the motor down here sounds fine on Rusty's Pontiac. Everything sounds good. It seems to be just an adjustment to the suspension. You can probably hear it right through my microphone. Nothing missing in the engine. Everything sounds to be hitting on all cylinders. There he goes.
They did get that bar changed, too. They changed that entire heim joint. That spark we saw probably dragging on that when we saw it earlier.
You can see the guy letting the heim joint out. They have a measurement for everything on that car, and they could reproduce that thing exactly like it was with another heim joint.
54-second pit stop from Rusty Wallace. And we'll be back to Phoenix as the pressure continues to build. Mark Martin and Ernie Irvan, the leaders. Exclusive live coverage of the Slick 5500 on the Nashville Network is brought to you by Ford and your Ford truck dealer. Ford Trucks, the best never rests. There's still a bit of fluid around the racetrack. We stay under caution as they recheck the alignment and adjustment on Rusty Wallace. 58-second stop. That won't hurt him since we are under caution. Now, you may have noticed Wallace came in on the lap with the cars on the lead lap, even though he had been lapped by Mark Martin. And as a result, NASCAR has assessed as their penalty that he has to start at the end of the longest line on the restart. That's the rule.
Yeah, but Mike, as you said earlier, that was probably a good move to get on in there and get that thing fixed and then take that penalty, go the rear.
Right.
Neil, that's kind of like you find a gold mine, but you can't get in until next week. That's the best thing they can do for him there.
Here's Ralph.
This will take a little while to get completed. They keep sending him back out to stay out in front of the pace car to stay on the lead lap. So Rusty will be coming back in.
Wallace coming around to catch up tail end of the field. Bob from Indiana is concerned, called in on our 800 number, that since NASCAR added the Brickyard 400 in Indy next year, would they drop another race from the schedule?
No.
No.
Just add to it.
Watching Rusty's car here, if the motor stuff was giving him a whole lot of trouble. Boy, look at the 41 car Trickle right here. A lot of smoke out that tailpipe.
Yeah, and when you see it come out the tailpipe, it means something deep in the engine is hemorrhaging.
Yeah, that's not going to get better.
Yep, no. It's going to get real shallow because it's going to surface here in a minute. I promise you. It won't do that and keep running along.
Let's check with Glenn.
We're standing by with Richard Childress. Richard, obviously you've decided to forego anything on that potential tow-in problem. You're just going to let him ride it out?
Well, you know, we keep adjusting the car each stop, and we've got it better with the situation we're in. We're just trying to salvage the best day we can right now.
Okay, let's go back to Ralph now.
They are getting one more time. They're getting the 1 to go sign. They're going to do everything they can on the right side. They're going to leave left side tires on. They've only changed the right side tires.
And we're not going green. We're going to stay yellow here. They had given 1 to go, but you see the NASCAR official on pit road waving it off. They will not get a restart at 243 laps. So since we're going to stay yellow, we're going to take a break. As the pressure mounts, we'll be right back to Phoenix.